Alright, we're back on the channel, and I contemplated not making this video. I have been like extremely sick tonight. I think I'm running like a 101 fever or something like that. So I do not feel the, trying to get the mic situated a little bit. So I don't feel great, like at all. So this video might not be super long, but I wanted to get my predictions out regardless because of the monumental state of this fight. This fight is massive. It's all going down tomorrow. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. We've seen a lot of mind games, a lot of back and forth throughout fight week, from the face-to-face to the open workout press conference, the weigh-ins which happened today. I'll talk about that a little bit. I want to give a final prediction because I do have a final thought on this fight. I think it's going to be close somewhat, but there is one person in my head I think is going to pull this fight out. But let's go over everything. Alright, so first I want to talk a little bit about how both guys win this fight. If you're Mike Tyson, you've got to start fast. You have got to go full throttle gas pedal as soon as the bell goes. We saw it in the open workout. Mike, as soon as he put the gloves on, instantly was going ham. I feel like that's the kind of game he has to play. There's no point in him sitting there and timing Jake or outboxing Jake. I just don't think that's going to happen. So Mike is going to have to go berserk. And I think that if you're Mike Tyson, I think you win this fight in the first round to maybe 3, because Jake is a lot younger. He's going to have a lot more stamina. So I think the longer that this fight goes on, I think it favors Jake Paul more and more. Also, if you're Mike, you have to land a big shot early. I think you have to get Jake's respect early. I think Jake is not respecting Mike right now, because we saw in the we saw in the weigh-ins, Mike Tyson slapped Jake Paul hard, and it looked like it hurt, but Jake didn't stumble, didn't give a reaction. He just sat there stone cold faced staring at Mike. So I think Mike has to get Jake Paul's respect early, and I think he will, but it has to be to a large extent. Mike has to land a bomb on Jake that makes Jake not even want to throw back. So that's how you win this fight if you're Mike Tyson. And then also, you just got to be Mike Tyson. You got to, don't switch how you're fighting because it's Jake Paul. It was a successful career the way you fought. Don't change anything. But let's talk about how the problem child wins this fight. I think he has to get Mike's respect early. I think that's big for both fighters. I think that whoever gets the other's respect first, I think that could really lend them well going into the fight. And I don't think Jake needs to necessarily go guns blazing in the first few rounds. I think he can just sit there, pop his jab, throw some big shots, maybe on the back foot. But I think if Jake lands an absolute bomb, it'll make Mike a little bit more hesitant to throw, and that'll just leave more openings for Jake Paul. And that leads to my second thing. Jake has to capitalize on openings. If Mike's going to go wild in the first few rounds, Jake has got to be smart. He's got to pick his timing. He can't sit there and trade with Mike. If he trades with Mike, it's going to be a ball game for Jake Paul. He's going to get knocked out. So he can't sit there and play this wild swinging game. But what he can do is pick his shot extremely smart. Look for an opening, because if Mike starts throwing wild, the opening will be there, and Jake has to capitalize on that opening. Another thing Jake has to do is keep his distance. He's going to have a longer reach than Mike Tyson. He's got to utilize that to his advantage. He cannot sit there and trade in the pocket with Mike. That's the last thing. As much as his ego might want to, that's the last thing he needs to be doing, and I don't think he will. He needs to sit back a little bit, use his jab, and wait for an opening. And as wild as this is to say, and I think he can do it, he needs to just be the smarter boxer. It's wild to say that because Mike Tyson's 50-6, one of the best fighters ever, but I think in this fight specifically, Jake has the ability to be not the better fighter, but the more smart fighter, and even the better fighter. I think he's going to be fast. I think he's going to be powerful. He just needs to hold off on using that from the first few rounds, because if he goes blow for blow with Mike, I keep saying it, he can't do that. He'll get caught, and he does not need to get caught. But I say all that to say, this is how I think the fight's going to go. I think round 1 we open, Tyson swings wild. I think he lands a shot on Jake, and then I think later in the round, Jake lands a shot on him, gets his respect. Round 2 is much of the same. Jake being patient on his jab. Mike might win round 2. Round 3, I think that's where we're going to see a little bit of a shift. I think Jake lands something clean, maybe like a left hook off of a right hand that Mike's throwing, or if Mike's throwing a left hook, maybe some kind of uppercut. I think Jake lands a big shot, gets Mike's respect. Mike backs off, and then 4, I think we see Jake really start to press the gas a little bit, and then in round 5, I think he drops Mike Tyson. I think he drops him. I think the stadium erupts. Mike Tyson gets to his feet, and then Jake smothers him, and I think he ends the fight fight. He could drop Mike again, or the referee could call it off, and I think Jake Paul wins this fight by TKO or KO in round 5. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I would like to see both of these guys win this fight. I'm a boxing fan. I love Mike Tyson. It'd be cool to see him come back and win something like this. But I'm also a Jake fan. I think Jake has done good things for boxing. As much as it might sound cheap to take a fight like this, it is Mike Tyson. It's an absolute legend. It's not some ordinary 58-year-old. It's Mike freaking Tyson, and obviously the purpose of him doing this is to have that win on his record. He wants people to look on BoxRec and see Mike Tyson W via KO. That's what he wants. So that's all I've got, guys. I'm excited. I'll be watching. I know some of you guys will be watching too. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all those things, and we'll do a little bit of a fight recap on maybe Saturday or Sunday. But until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.